Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. We got a fun one prepared today. What we're going to be doing is we'll be doing an in-depth breakdown for our Washington Huskies versus Oregon Ducks matchup we have coming up in Week 14 of the 2024 college football season. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, please drop them below, and I will respond. Every week, we go over every single college football game, the top 25 ones, the non-top 25 ones. We completely break them down, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what the final score will be, and we'll also touch on our best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders. If you're a college football fan, if you're an NFL football fan, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe so you can follow along with us this season. We do go over every single NFL game as well. Like I said, make sure you're subscribed. But what we're doing right now is we're going to be doing an in-depth breakdown for this Washington Huskies versus Oregon Ducks. This is an old Pac-12 matchup. Don't forget, Dan Lanning played Washington twice last year, lost to them both times. Yes, they have a new coach this season, but still, you want to get that win. You want to get over that hump. There's a lot riding on this game. Oregon already has it booked for the Big Ten Championship. They just want to make sure they get there. They want to finish this game hot. They want to keep the ball rolling into that Big Ten Championship game. If you win the Big Ten Championship, you get the bye week and you're in the playoffs. There's not too much to prove here. Just get a win. Get to the Big Ten Championship, win it, get in. There's no reason to run the score up here. There's no reason to try to get crazy. Stay fully healthy. But looking at this matchup, this game's going to be on NBC on Saturday, November 30th at 7:30 p.m. We have 6-5 Washington Huskies. Do not sleep on the Washington Huskies. They actually have a pretty dang good defense. Right now, they'll be playing number one undefeated 11-0 Oregon Ducks. The unanimous number one. It's not even close. Now, when you look at the Ducks, right now, they have an 89% chance to win this game. They come into this game as 19-point favorites. That is a massive spread here for an in-conference rivalry game. The over-under here is 50.5. Washington, they're going to be led by Will Rogers. He's the passer out of the SEC coming out of Mississippi State. He's had a great season so far, closing in on 2,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 picks. But Oregon's going to be led by the transfer quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, right now closing in on breaking almost every single passing record for college football, because the guy's been starting like 8 or 9 years. Right now he's closing in on 3,100 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks. He also has 6 rushing touchdowns. He's a guy that can extend plays with his legs. He can scramble for those first downs. You don't want to bun rush him too much. There's too many weapons on the outside for the Ducks. They can throw the ball. They can run the ball. This is the number one team in the country here. Washington would love to beat them for the third straight time, upend their entire season. Yes, they'd still make the Big Ten Championship, but you would take the momentum, the wind out of their sails. They would love to do that. That'd be a massive win for Jetfish. But Oregon, Dan Lanning, everything is in front of you right now. Can you keep that momentum going? You're the number one team. Every time someone plays you, this is the Super Bowl, basically. They want to beat you, especially one of your old Pac-12 rivals. Looking at Washington, they're averaging 22.6 points a game. They are struggling to get those first downs. They're struggling to punch it in the red zone. They're throwing for 272.3, so they can't vertically push the ball down the field. They're running for 139.4. They're only giving up 20.5 points a game. That's actually pretty good considering the fact that their defense is on the field for a lot of the game because they're only averaging 22 points a game. Where I see the weaknesses, they have a solid secondary. They only give up 173.8 points a game. So yes, it will be hard to pass on them, but Washington's had a pretty good secondary for about the last decade right now. Where their weakness is on the ground game, on that defensive line. They're giving up 152.3 rushing yards per game. That's not necessarily bad, but it's definitely not good. There will be opportunities for Oregon to keep that tempo going, run the ball downhill. Dan Lanning built this team at the line of scrimmage. They're very deep on the offensive line. They want to lean on you. It might not start to show itself first quarter, second quarter, but by late third, early fourth, that's when Washington's defensive line will start getting wore out and when they'll start picking up massive yards on the ground. For Oregon, they're averaging 33.9. Yes, this isn't the Marcus Mariota offense. They're not averaging 40 to 45 points a game, but they're doing just enough to win the game, and they're dominating the second half. Right now, they're throwing for 290.8, running for 166.3. That's where things can happen in this game. Like I said, attack Washington on the ground, at the line of scrimmage, own the trenches. A great run game will open up that play action, and that'll open up the passing game. They're only giving up 15.7 points a game. This is a top 10 national defense. They get after it. They're deep. They have a great defensive line. Top 10 in sacks, pressures, tackles for a loss. They give up 182.5 passing yards per game, 118.7 on the ground. Looking at the playmakers, obviously, you have Will Rogers. He's an experienced veteran quarterback. He's going to make plays when they have to make plays, but do they have enough weapons to be able to keep up with Oregon for 4 quarters? They have Coleman at the running back position closing in on 1,100 yards. That's great. They're going to try to run on Oregon, but that's easier said than done. And they have Boston closing in on 800 yards for Oregon. Obviously, you have Dylan Gabriel. He's the multiple quarterback. If he has a great performance here and a great Big Ten championship performance, he could, he's kind of an outlier to potentially get the Heisman, but he would need some chaos right now. And they have Jordan James at the running back position. He's just shy of 1,100 yards. Oregon can run downhill. That's where you attack Washington, and you also have Dylan Gabriel in the running game. If they have a healthy wide receiver core, Tez Johnson, Stewart, multiple massive weapons, especially Stewart when he's healthy, 5-star player. They have the vertical weapons. They're the threats on the outside that completely opens this game up, and that's obviously going to also open up that passing game. Both of those complement one another right now. So Oregon's a pretty big favorite here, a 19-point favorite. That's a pretty big spread here. As I mentioned earlier, there's no reason for Oregon to try to run the score up here, 45 to 14, 50 to, there's no reason to leave the starters in. This is the last regular season game. You're going to be playing potentially the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Big Ten Championship. It's hard to beat a good team twice in one season. I'd make sure to get out of here alive with a comfortable win with the momentum. I would not in any way be concerning myself about the spread. Keep your team healthy. No reason to have Dylan Gabriel out there fourth quarter, unless the game's close and you need him out there, just like the Wisconsin game. But outside of that, get your starters out. Let the second, third string get those reps so you're even deeper come the Buckeyes game, because they're going to challenge you out that line of scrimmage, and that game could go either way. Right now, I have Oregon getting the win here, but I have them winning this one 34-17. So I do not have them covering the spread. I'm going with that plus 19, but we will be going with the over. Oregon could surprise us, and they could completely dominate this game just like they did the Purdue game after they played the Buckeyes. I have them getting a comfortable win, but Washington might get some fourth quarter points. Let them have it. Who cares? You're going to the Big Ten Championship. Oregon wins, and we go with the over. So that's our breakdown of the Oregon Ducks. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you have any comments about this game or any other ones, please drop them below, and I will make sure to respond. Thanks.